Let's talk about a banking system that is absolutely massive, incredibly powerful, but you probably don't think about it every day. We're not talking about Wall Street or big city finance. Nope. We're diving into a community-powered banking ladder that, pretty quietly, supports millions and millions of people across India.
And to really understand this, let's start with a really simple question. Just picture a farmer way out in a remote village, miles from any big city. The monsoon is on its way, and they need cash, right now, for seeds. It seems like a simple problem, but how they solve it? Well, that's the whole reason this entire system was born.
You see, for centuries, there was really only one option, the local moneylender. And this wasn't a bank. This was a person, charging just astronomical interest rates. It created this huge, nationwide problem of rural debt, trapping generations of families in a cycle they just couldn't break out of. Something had to change.
And the solution, the new idea, it didn't come from some fancy government report or a big bank. It actually came from a simple but totally revolutionary concept that made its way all the way from England. It was the idea of cooperation.
So what even is a cooperative society? Well, at its heart, it's about people helping themselves. It's so simple. Instead of one farmer struggling alone, what if 100 farmers pooled their money? They could get better loans, they could buy seeds in bulk for way cheaper, and they could sell their crops together to get a better price. It's all about mutual help and democratic control.
And what's so cool is how this idea just spread like wildfire. It all started in 1844 with just 28 weavers in a town called Rochdale in England. They were just fed up with being overcharged for things like flour and sugar. Their little idea inspires credit co-ops in Germany, and that German model becomes the blueprint that India officially adopts in 1904 to solve that exact debt problem we were just talking about. And these principles, this is the DNA of the whole thing. They are so simple, yet so powerful. Anyone can join. It's controlled democratically. And this is the big one. One member, one vote. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, your voice counts the same. It's all about building something for the good of the whole community.
Okay, so India takes these amazing principles and builds something, well, something on an entirely different scale. So let's look at how this idea became what I like to call the cooperative banking ladder. And let's actually follow the journey of a single rupee as it moves through this system.
The whole rural credit system is basically a three-level pyramid. At the very bottom, right there in the village, you've got your local societies. These are called packs. Then, all the packs in a district are grouped together under a district-level bank. And then, all of those district banks report up to one big bank at the state level. Here's how they all work together. The packs, at the village level, they're the front lines. They're the ones dealing directly with the farmers, giving out the loans for seeds and fertilizer. The district bank, or the DCCB, is kind of like the regional manager. It gets money to all the packs in its area and keeps an eye on them. And then at the very top, the State Cooperative Bank, or SCB, is like the head office. It coordinates everything and is the main link to the big national financial regulators.
And the way the money moves is just super logical. The big money gets put in at the top, at the state level, it flows down to the district banks, then down to the village societies, and finally into the hands of the farmer. And when the farmer repays that loan, the money just flows right back up the ladder. Simple as that.
Right, but a system this huge, with so much money moving around, it needs rules, it needs oversight. So who are the guardians keeping this whole thing running smoothly? Turns out, there are a few key players.
On the administrative side, think of it like this. Every state has a registrar of cooperative societies, the RCS. They're the local referee, handling registrations, audits, making sure the individual societies are playing by the rules. But then, at the national level, you have the Ministry of Cooperation. They're focused on the big picture, setting national policy, pushing for modernization, and making sure the whole movement is heading in the right direction. And then you have the financial heavyweights. First, the Reserve Bank of India, the RBI. It regulates the banking part of all this, making sure they're stable and safe. But the real engine room, especially for the rural side, is NABARD. NABARD is the top-tiered development bank. It not only supervises the system, but it also provides the huge amounts of cash, the refinancing that makes the whole ladder work. So, let's fast forward to today. That tiny idea that started with 28 weavers, well, it's grown into an absolute empire of community finance in India. The scale of it now is it's mind-boggling. Just look at that number, over 103,000. That is how many of those little village-level societies are out there, right now, across the country.
This isn't some tiny niche program. It's a foundational piece of India's rural economy with a footprint in pretty much every corner of the nation.
But of course, that reach isn't the same everywhere. This chart, just using some data from Telangana, shows you what I mean. In a district with tons of agriculture, like Nizamabad, you find 140 of these societies. Makes sense, right? But in a much more urban district like Hyderabad, you only see 49. It just shows you how the system is alive. It concentrates itself where the need is the greatest.
And that really brings us full circle to the mission statement for today. Sahakar se Samriddhi, which means prosperity through cooperation. This isn't just some catchy slogan. It's the core belief that has powered this movement for more than a century. It's the final answer to that farmer's simple question. It's an incredible story, from a handful of weavers in England to a system that empowers millions in India, all showing the unbelievable power of what can happen when people decide to work together.